There's usually a base rate plus bonus structures. The base rate will be anywhere between $10 to $30 per post. For me, I usually do a minimum of 500 views in order to even get the base rate. Some companies, they do it differently. When it comes to the bonus structures, usually it will start at either 10K views or 50K views. And it's usually a decreasing CPM structure, which means at 10K views, the bonuses might be $50, let's say. And then at 50K views, the bonuses will be $50, which is $1 CPM. And then at 1 million views, you might pay them $500, which is 0.5 CPM. So that's usually the structure that you want. The base rate also depends on the type of content you want to do and where you find these creators. More experienced creators who are working with 5 different apps, they probably won't take $10. But if you find someone who's new to it, a college kid who has never done UGC before, also your content is very easy to film, then you can get it for $10 too. So it just depends. I wrote this as my college thesis.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I had to graduate and write a thesis, and I had nothing else I was passionate about other than the fact that I was building my app. No, it's a 60-page playbook that I wrote in college that I feel like I still stand by most of the things I said in there.
I love it. I love it. All right. And then a CCO? Okay. How do you reach creators? DM or some sort of tool?
If you're like super early in your journey, you can just do SiteShift or other UGC platforms. Those are designed for people who don't really know what they're doing, that can have like big numbers of UGC creators apply to your campaign. For me right now, I usually do, because I've been in the space for like 2-3 years now. A lot of the people that used to do UGC with me, they have their own UGC communities and stuff. So I'll just reach out to my friends and usually do inbound like applications where creators in like a Discord chat or something like that can just apply to our program. Or if my friends just personally recommend any creators to us that can go viral with the content that we're looking for. Another thing is you can always do your own outreach. So usually the best way is to find micro influencers that have a pretty good average view for every video, maybe around like 10K views. And then just ask them if they want to be a UGC creator, because a lot of these influencers, they go viral on TikTok or Instagram, but they have no way to monetize. They are looking for money and payments. So that would be good.
Yeah, Nicole, once you find an influencer, do you have them create a brand new account or are they posting on the existing account?
Yeah, they post on a brand new account. So when it comes to most of the UGC now, because it's so easy to change the algorithm to your targeted audiences on a brand new account, that usually it's probably better. So for everyone that we work with, they open up a brand new account, they warm it up according to our playbook. I've posted the warm-up playbook on my Twitter. So if anyone wants to just take a look at that, and then have them create content directly through that.
The other thing that I did some research, you have a real good system. I think a lot of people think, oh, I'll just hire UGCs, tell them about my app, and then boom, it goes viral. And you're like, no, I think you have a really, you said in another podcast that like, hey, if you don't understand your product, you have to understand your product better than the creators so that you can train the creators to create the type of content that you know will go viral.
I think don't depend on people on payroll or you paying them in order for them to be smarter to you or to care more about you. So that's always how I thought. And to be honest, I feel like the UGC creators appreciate that as well, because you're hiring me to create content, not to figure out how to go viral for your app. Those are two very different things. So when it comes to finding the formats, that's hours and days of research on the founders, and it's the founders' responsibility than the UGC creators. I think a lot of founders fall into this trap where it's like, okay, I'm going to spend 10K. It's a huge investment for me, or 10, 20K to get the best UGC creators for them to go viral. But it's less about that. It's more on you as a founder. And that's a lot more stressful than just paying someone to try. But it's pretty important, I would say.
What is on that onboarding screen? So do you tell them exactly like the type of concepts that have gone viral? Do you like to try to go viral yourself first before you even contact UGCs? Tell me about like, because I think most people just think that they can just hire, go to side shift, put some money in there, and then boom, you're done. And I think that's the biggest misconception that I've learned doing research for this interview.
No, that's probably 5% of it. Usually, when I just started, I would literally have my entire day blocked by interviews with UGC creators. I won't accept all the people that I interview. I would say probably 50-50 or even less. Because you want people to take it seriously, you want the foundation to be good. And when it comes to the onboarding, so I usually make a course for all of my creators. This is for all of my apps. I make a course that's very customized. Usually it's my face or like video tutorials. It can go anywhere. The entire onboarding course can go anywhere from 30 minutes to more than an hour, depending on the program and how good we are at it. But usually I will have a course where instead of telling a UGC creator, hey, this is our app, this is how to set it up, I just systemize it so I don't ever have to repeat the same sentences again, because it gets really repetitive and it's like not a good use of a founder's time. So, when it comes to the onboarding, from what I can think of right now, first it's introduction of the app, how to set up the app. If they need a code for them to use certain features to create content, you got to figure that out and come up with a tutorial for that. Afterwards, it's how to create an account and warm up. So I will usually give them examples of usernames, of bios, of profile pictures. We'll go super specific in there. We are operating with an assumption that whoever we hire has no idea what's going on. So every little small detail, I'll try to just include that into the course. After the warming up, it will mostly be about content creation. So depending on what type of content, if it's talking head, reaction videos, or B-rolls or Snapchat videos, whatever it is, I usually have a content bank that has the content idea, example videos, scripts, emotions, captions, out of video captions, hashtags, everything laid out for them. And the way I think about it is also from my personal experience. I grew up in the entertainment industry. My brother was a director, went to film school. So a lot of the times I treat these content scripts as screenwriting scripts where you're not just trying to tell them what to say, you're trying to come up with an emotion for each sentences. You're trying to have different long shots, medium shots, short shots for different angles to make the engagement better. Because to make content viral, according to the algorithm, watch time is the most important. So it will be super boring if, let's say, I just have my phone, I speak with no content changes when it comes to emotions like, oh my God, zooming in, zooming out, a lot of those. So I will teach the creators how to do that. And that even matters in the videos. So I'm yapping a lot about that,
No,
but
I'm taking
also
notes. Please keep yapping.
the next module that we will have, and then we'll have account management, because a lot of people, all they care about is, oh, I'm just going to post a video and not do anything afterwards. But we'll tell them, still constantly warm up. What do you do with the comment section to increase engagements? What do you do when it comes to story posts and stuff like that? So just bring an awareness to the UGC creator that their job is not just film a content, it's to do much more with it. But at the same time, in order for you to do more, we have all the resources there is ready to help you. And if you text us with any questions, we will reply within a couple of hours. So they feel supported and they will do more of what you want them to do too. Yeah.
Nicole, I want to sign up just so I can go through your course. Like that sounds amazing.
Some people have done that.
You're like, get out. Can you repurpose like, I don't know, 60, 70% of that same course for different apps? Is it just, hey, this works for any type of app? Or like, I guess you have a spidey sense of like which apps this playbook would work on?
I do believe it will work for everyone.
Okay.
It's a general course, but I usually film a different course every single time because I want it to be completely tailored to my app that I'm working on. But the overall idea and what I talk about in those videos sometimes are super, super similar.
the thing I wanted to talk to you, you said you give sample like videos, you have a content bank. Are in the content bank, is it just other videos that have done well, or is it of the Glam Up, of Sprout, of these Stealth apps? Like, yeah, what kind of content bank do you have?
It's me. All the example videos usually are filmed by me. That if it goes viral with another creator, then I'll replace my video with theirs. But usually I will be the one filming and making those example videos.
Do you always start off the like in the beginning of any maybe of Glam Up? Were you the one that was creating, getting going viral?
Yeah, I was the one doing anything because
Wow.
we didn't have the money to spend, right? So
Yeah.
it's usually me or my co-founder. The co-founding team will
Yeah.
just try to make things viral, and the moment it does go viral, that's when we started scaling
I love
and stuff like that.
Just to repeat that, Nicole said, look, I try to go viral first to make sure it's repeatable. And then I hand it off to UGCs. Okay. She's not reliant on them to go viral. She knows how to do it herself. All right. Got some more questions. How do you test new app ideas on TikTok and Instagram without having a distribution network? I guess you just said it, but
You can test ideas out. I wouldn't test like 100 ideas out at the same time because it's very confusing to your mind. I think instead of looking at distribution, there's so much more to having an app as well. I will usually, instead of posting on TikTok or Instagram on day one, my day one is probably more focused on researching the entire niche, the entire market, the competitor apps. It's a lot of work that you need to put in if you don't want to waste time posting about several different app ideas. So, yeah, just a lot of research, a lot of understanding the industry. Most of the apps I've built, I don't really understand the industry when I just built it. It takes time to learn about it, to be a student as well. Yeah.
what's day two, Nicole?
Day two is probably Figma. I usually go on Figma and jot my ideas down a little bit. And when it comes to Figma, it's not really the onboarding flow. I will talk about the onboarding flow. It's actually very important. I learned a lot from your YouTube channel too when it comes to onboarding, but more like the screen that I want going viral on social media. I will try to make that maybe different variations, think about how that will be, research other apps in the niche, maybe taking some lessons from them, some design components, or even apps that have nothing to do with my niche. I'll research a lot about it.
I like it. Okay. And there's a day 3 and 3, 4. You want me to stop?
Probably distribution then, or just start building.
I like it. Shut up, Steve. Next question. Okay. How do you feel about that?
I'm confident, and that's the only way to deal with it.
I
Like
it.
I'm confident, but I'm not cocky. I'm not gonna like just because someone is making 10, 20K MRR, that doesn't mean I don't feel threatened. I think I don't feel threatened, but I want to learn about them. And a lot of the times I learn a lot from people doing way less numbers than me implemented to my apps too.
I love it. Okay. And then we'll get into the onboarding. Great answer. How long does it take for you to warm up the account, and what is the process?
Usually for 3 days, there's following, repost, certain accounts that you want to follow. You usually want to follow like micro accounts instead of macro accounts. The understanding behind that is that if you follow Messi, guess how many other people follow Messi, right? It's like people from all different nationalities with different interests, this and that. Versus if you follow someone that's in such a niche market, the algorithm has an easier experience putting you and categorizing you within one niche of people where your content will go towards.
Nicole, this was absolutely awesome. I've been looking forward to this since you said yes. I was like, H, you got to go get Nicole on to come onto the podcast. And when you said yes, I was like, okay, when is that date? And so I'm super excited that we got to do this. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge. I would hit replay on this and just really follow along Nicole's tips and tricks to do all of this. And the main thing that I learned is, figure out how to go viral first, then hire the UGCs to help you go viral because you understand how to go viral as well and really be obsessed with it. Nicole, if the audience wants to follow up with you and say thank you so much for coming on, do you want to send them anywhere else besides your Twitter?
Just DM me on Twitter. I don't have any other social media.
No?
Yeah, well, no.
Maybe by
I really
poll.
appreciate you, Steve. You asked really great questions, and I think I really enjoy just watching your YouTube channel as well. So Really appreciate this opportunity, and thank you for asking all of these amazing questions.
Well, you got a lot of love from the audience as well. Thank you
Hey,
so much.
thank you guys for chiming in, spending your time
Yeah.
with us.